Thank you. So Sasha's a good friend of mine. We actually went to college together, and she is part of an organization that's the largest national organization for AIDS awareness for teens. So she actually talks across the nation to teenagers, especially girls, and it's Outstanding Mature Girlz Organization. So they go around and they teach girls about not only sexual safety, but also about having respect for themselves and how to achieve their goals. So she goes around the nation talking about that. She also, she comes from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and she's a lifelong member. She lives in an area where there's not a lot of members, and in her realm, or I guess her sphere of professionalism, she doesn't get to tell people that she's LDS, so she doesn't really get to talk to about that a lot. And so, as a friend of mine, I watched her over the years. I wasn't super stalking her though. I just, watched her over the years and kept up with her, and I thought, I think that she has a lot to share with LDS women about just being an activist. And so here you go, Sasha.
Thank you so much. Like Marlo said, my name is Sashika Baunchand, and I'm the founder of the Outstanding Mature Girlz Organization, and I also work for the AIDS Healthcare Foundation. I am the Advocacy Consultant for the entire state of Louisiana. AIDS Healthcare is a global organization, so AIDS Healthcare is in 38 different countries worldwide, and they help people get treatment and things like that for HIV and AIDS. And it kind of reminded me of the church, because I'm like, okay, we're all across the globe and everything like that. But I didn't start off, of course, always working in the field of HIV and AIDS. I was actually a hip-hop DJ. I was a morning show DJ, so I woke everyone up. Different issues, different things like that, just kind of entertaining the whole entire state of Louisiana, and we were in parts of Mississippi as well. So that was pretty fun doing that. And with that, of course, like Marlo said, there were times, of course, when my co-workers would bring up, my religion, and I'm not going to deny it. Yes, I'm LDS. Yes, I listen to hip hop. Yes. But of course, I'm here to talk about enduring to the end, because with anything that you do that is different from what we're taught, in the church, and I'm just assuming, I don't know if everybody's probably not members here, but things, if you are LDS, things that we're taught in the church, I had that foundation, I guess, to hold on to, no matter how much. I was all the way, I guess, left. I don't know if that's the correct word, but I was all the way over there, because that's where I work. So just a little background before I get back into that. My family, we're from Trinidad, from the beautiful island of Trinidad and Tobago. That's right off the coast of Venezuela. So my heritage is Spanish, East Indian, and Black. And so it's, they call me a whole, the word that they use in Trinidad, not mulatto, but Creole. They use Creole. So I'm just all a mixture of everything. And so my dad, his testimony is very, very strong. So we were Catholics. And in Trinidad, he had a vision that he was supposed to join a church called, it said the Mormon Church. It didn't say Latter-day Saints. It said join the Mormon Church. And I was like, what in the world? What? And he said it was just plain and state. But I'm not going to, because normally I don't get to talk about my faith. So this is like a first for me right here. So just bear with me on this. So he had his vision, And I'm not going to go into details or anything, but we ended up here, you know, in America. And of course, of all places, we ended up in like a small one-street town in Louisiana. It's called Bayou, like literally one street light, just one little town. But with that, my mom, she was working at Walmart at the time when we came here, and she saw two sisters, and she thought they were nuns because they introduced themselves as sisters. And she told them that my dad, the reason why we came here, because my dad was like on a mission to like look for a church called the Mormon Church, and if y'all are sisters, you know, please go and pray for him, you know. And they were like, wait, what? And, you know, she was like, the Mormon Church. And they're like, well, Latter-day Saints, our nickname, you know, because they introduced themselves as we're sisters from the Church of Jesus Christ. They said, no, that's our nickname. My mom was like, okay, well, it's kind of weird. Okay, here's our address. Go see my husband or whatnot. And so they made the appointment. They came knocking at the door, opened the door, and I guess they kind of knew what to say then. So they said, you know, we're sisters from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormon Church. My dad said, take me now, you know, like I'm supposed to, you know. So we ended up, it didn't take long for him to get the lessons and things like that. And my mom, she just fell in line and just, you know, went along with my dad and whatnot. And we were all baptized. I had to wait till I was 8 because I came here whenever we were when I was 4. So, you know, to make a long story short, I mean, our faith, no matter the things that, you know, we went through growing up, we always had the foundation of the church. And, you know, growing up was kind of tough because my parents just coming from another country and trying to get used to just everything going on. That's all we had was the church. Like, that's all we had was the church to pretty much, like, just hold on to. And so, made it all throughout. My teenage years, taking part in Young Women, all the Young Women activities. I played sports, I did everything, and I was always the only black one there. Hey, what a coincidence. So, you know, it's something that I just got used to. And, you know, I just got in where I fit in and pretty much, you know, just understood that, you know, what I'm learning and my foundation, everything, you know, this church is true. And so, went on to college, and that's when I met Marlo. And I ended up going to Virginia and just learning the things that I learned there that really, you know, helped me. And so I'm thinking, you know, everything is great. You know, my life is just falling in line the way that my parents, you know, see that it should fall. You know, my dad wanted me to be an attorney. So when I went to Virginia, I studied business law. And when a situation happened to where I had to come back home, and I had emergency surgery. So after that took place, there was no going back to Virginia. I ended up staying home, and now I'm like, okay, now I'm older, because I had my parents with me the whole way, guiding me. Now I have to kind of be self-sufficient. I'm not going back to Virginia, so I need to either work or go to school. So I ended up doing both. And the job that I ended up getting was at the radio station. So it was just filing papers. And the DJs would come in there and clown and joke and things like that. And I'm like, those are the people I listen to. Oh my gosh, you know. And so right next to and I'm going to get into the meat of everything. I don't want to make y'all cry just yet. But so I filed papers right next to the president's office. And he said, hey, you want to go on the radio? I'm like, is that easy? I'm like, really? That's all? And so one of the sales ladies, the one who was over me pretty much, to make sure that I was doing the paperwork correctly, she was like, yeah, I'll take you in there to go and see them and this and that. And so I ended up going into the morning show. DJs ended up checking them out, and they started calling me the Island Princess, so that name stuck with me for a long time. And I would go in there and just kind of watch them, and I'm like, I can do this, I think. And ended up working on air for free, just kind of making my way in there, filing CDs, because that's when CDs and putting CDs in. And so ended up doing that, and with that I would always talk about how pure I am, how, and not knowing that there were people out there, millions of people listening to me. And I would talk about that and be like, yes, my faith is strong. And I'm talking about this like on a hip hop station at 19 years old. And so, yes, my faith is strong, and I'm gonna, they were like, okay, so talk about why is it that you choose to wait until you're married, to engage in any activity, any sexual activities or anything like that. So I would talk about that on the radio. And not knowing that, there were savages listening. And so people would come up to the radio station, and there was this one guy that came up to the radio station, and he was like, I really commend everything that you're doing, waiting until you're married, and, that's just amazing, like, your faith in God, and just talking about, all these wonderful things, and I was like, wow, this guy, it's really great. And so he would come to my remote broadcast that I would do, and I'm like, wow, he's there, and it's during the daytime, and he's not even at work. But anyway, he's there. And so, and it got to the point to where he would come and he was like, I would like to start dating you. I'm like, okay. He was like, I love everything that you stand for. Your standards are, amazing. And I'm like, thank you so much. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess we can date. And so we started dating, and he was just the sweetest person. Like, this guy was just unbelievable. Open doors, just everything, just the tall, dark, and I don't know what I was thinking, but tall and dark, and normally the word handsome would come in after that, but I guess I was just, taken away by the words that, he was saying to me. And, it came the time to, we were alone on many occasions, and so, of course, that time came to where it was the pressure and everything that I was taught and everything that I believed in, I'm like, but this guy, he's telling me that, that he loves and believes in my standards, but why is he pressuring me so much? Like, why is he, why? I'm like, well, maybe that's how it's supposed to be if you love somebody, maybe that's, and at 19, 20, just like my first real boyfriend. And so the time came, and I gave into the pressure. And I felt dirty. I felt alone. I felt all kinds of things. I felt that I gave up on Heavenly Father. I felt really, really, really just low. And of course, he continued on, and he would come to my events, and I'm like, and at that point, y'all, I went from like being this local celebrity and being out in the community, smiling in people's faces and this and that, to feeling empty on the inside, like completely empty. And he would come to me, and even though I would still smile, and he would say, "Why are you smiling in this guy's face? Why?" And I'm like, "This is my job. Like, this is what I have to do." And so it came to the point where he hit me. And he apologized. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is not supposed to happen to me. Like, my parents taught me this, I did this and this. This is not the way it's supposed to happen. And so it would continue. He would continue, he would apologize over and over. "I'm not gonna do it. Oh my gosh, you mean the world to me," and all this other stuff, and this and that, and I believed him. And then the time came, and I ended up pregnant. And I'm like, my parents, like, they wanted me to get married in the temple. They wanted me to do this. They wanted me to do all these things, and I'm like a disappointment. And so I did not want this. Like, I'm like, I don't want to raise, like, okay. So we planned a wedding. I was like a zombie, like somebody who you're just living but not. And I'm like, I'm about to get married to this guy that hits me. I'm about to get married to this guy just because I'm pregnant. And so we were planning for 2 weeks. I ended up sick in the bed. We were supposed to get married like in 2 weeks. I ended up getting sick in the bed to where I couldn't even, like, I was just sick. And so my mom, she was like, "Sash, maybe this is a sign." Because I thought that I had to do this because of my parents. That's when she sat down next to me. And she was like, "You don't have to do this for us." She said, "The Lord has somebody out there for you. Somebody that's gonna love you." Like, she just knew. Like, I didn't tell my parents anything. Like, she just knew. She was like, "You don't have to marry him." She's like, "You don't." And so after that, I'm like, deuces. I did everything possible to stay away from him. A restraining order, whatever it is. And he just continued. He would make threats to my family, make threats to me, that saying that he was going to kill himself, just all kinds of things. And I would pray, just every night. And just like, "Lord, if you just help me, just get through this, I promise I'll just live my life for you, like, whatever it is." And so he did it, and he did it to where I had my daughter. He moved out of town, never came back to Louisiana, and, I just raised my daughter, with the help of my parents. My dad was like, "We're going to be there for you no matter what." I tried to call him and invite him to her blessing in the church, and he was like, "There's no Mormon church. Like, I'm not, don't even call me." I was like, "Don't even call me. I don't even," like, "that's fine." So my dad ended up blessing my daughter in the church, and with the help of my parents and the Lord and church members, I was able to raise my daughter and do the things that I needed to do to make sure that she had that solid foundation, because I felt like it was my fault. I felt like this is not what she needed. I had 2 parents growing up. Why am I doing this to her? And so, just with that, I continued on. I realized that, I have to set the example, no matter what. No matter, my dad was saying that, it's like, Sash, that's her dad, and teach her how to love him. I'm like, love this guy, like, what? It's like, Sash, you will be blessed. Just teach her to love him. And I'm like, how can you talk? Like, how can my dad tell me this? I could tell, like, to teach her to love him. And so, did. And he would call and, put her on the phone to talk to him and, just make it seem like it was just great. And so, with that, I excelled at the radio station. The supervisor, he would tell me, how bad do you want it? You need to work hard. You need to work hard. And I was never went to school for it. So he gave me the tools that I needed. And I continued to work hard at my craft. And I ended up winning many awards in radio and doing things like that. And I would have my daughter right there underneath the DJ and just have her and bringing her everywhere with me. And my dad, he would sit down and ask me, he was like, do you still see yourself getting married in the temple? And I'm like, Daddy, can I? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think that it's something that's possible, because this guy told me that nobody would want me. He told me I was worthless. He called me all kinds of names. Like, he told me, the way that I felt is, he told me, like, all these things. And, I'm like, even though I was in the public, smiling and living life, those things would still kind of get to me. And I had some amazing visiting teachers and an amazing home teacher who ended up being my bishop and my stake president. And my home teacher called me while I was on the air, and I'm like, I'm on radio. He's like, I'm coming over. I'm like, no. He's like, I'm going to meet you at your parents' house, because I had my own apartment, but he had to meet me, somewhere where, he's like, yes, 6 o'clock, be there. Like, he was telling me, like, and so, okay. So I would go over to my parents' house, meet him there. He would bring some amazing bread that his wife would make, and he would just listen to my problems. Like, straight up just listen to my problems. And he was like, I am going to stay here in Louisiana until you get married. Until you get married in the temple. And I'm looking at him like, what you talking about, Willis? Like, what are you? He's like, I'm going to stay here. He said, my family's here, in Utah, but I'm going to stay here until you get married. I had ups and downs, trials, everything. My visiting teacher, she tried to hook me up with her son. And I was like, oh, he's such a lame, like, no. And so she was like, well, don't worry, she said, because I have your dress. Like, I'm like, what are they plotting? She was like, I have your dress. You want to see your wedding dress? I'm like, weirdo. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. Sorry, sister. I'm going to look if she sees this video. But, I was like, yeah. So she pulled out the dress, and I'm like, okay. And so she's like, this is going to be your dress. She said, I got it on sale, and no. And so, just going and being taught by my visiting teacher and my home teacher, and they would sit and listen and listen and listen. I I became really active again back in the church. And I had a calling, Relief Society. I was the Relief Society choir director. I had so much soul. I was, and they were like, we love the way you direct. and so I, just kind of, I was just happy to have, like, y'all, that was just my happy dance, really. I was just really happy just to have a calling again. And so, and just doing the things necessary. I was like, you know what, I want a better life for my daughter. I want a better life for myself. I want a better life for just my, kids to come. And so, ended up going to a broadcast one night, and Gladys Knight was coming in town, and so I was like, Dad, I said, please, bring on me, I'm going to meet you there. So I had like an American Eagle t-shirt on, and I threw a skirt in the back seat because I had some jeans on. So after the remote, I drove to church, I even put the skirt on, and I ripped the bottom. It was like a maxi skirt, like a long, and I ripped the bottom of my hand. That was a size 4 back then too, so like any little thing was fitting and looking nice. And so I went in, and I found my dad and my daughter. And I had invited a friend too, so she was there. Like I was just kind of trying to recruit everybody to join, because I was like back in and just doing what I need to do. And so in the front row, I see this guy, but like this girl like had her arms around him, and like it was like a row of girls, and it was just like him. And it's like, I've seen him somewhere, he's kind of cute. And so, but I'm like, I guess that's his girlfriend. But anyway, so listen to Gladys Knight, her choir came, and it was just amazing. It was just beautiful. So it was over with, and we got up, about to leave, and that whole row came over to me because, I was a little celebrity, just a little. And they're like, oh my gosh, like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I go here. Like, I can't go to church. Like, even though I'm on the radio, like, I can go to church. I go here. And I'm like, oh. And so this girl, she was like, can I get your number? Just want to catch up, like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, Sashika is, like, a member of the church. Like, I really want to talk to you. So I'm like, okay, just to kind of, so she and I were talking, and I said, that guy, I said, was that, she was like, who, my brother? I was like, oh, she's like, oh, he doesn't have a girlfriend. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't even say anything about having a girlfriend, like, what? And so she's like, oh, here's his number. So she gave me the number, and so I called. And I'm like, hey, I'm Sashika. He's like, oh yeah, my sister told me that you're going to call me and this and that. So I ended up talking. I was like, oh, he's really cool, really nice, and he's a member. Like, this is weird. Like, I've never talked to a member except for my visiting teacher trying to hook me up with her son before. But it's actually a member that we kind of clicked. And so, just talking and talking and talking. Excuse me. I also did some modeling. And so there was a calendar that because he and I started talking on the phone. So I guess I'm just kind of fast forwarding. So there was a calendar. So I wanted him to, have my calendar. And my daughter and I were leaving a friend's house, so I was like, I could just drop it off to you. And so on the calendar, I put, remember this night, because I just kind of knew, I'm like, this is going to be my husband. Like, I just knew. And I put, remember this night. And so we talked or whatnot, and I'm like, I don't know about you, but my mind is made up, like, on a date or when we're together, whatever. He's like, yeah. And this guys just, like, take so long. And so, I pretty much kind of told him, I was like, I'm a package deal, this and that. And then I told him my age. He was like, wait, because on the radio, y'all, I forgot I said I was younger. So he thought that I was young. He was like, wait, you're not. I was like, no, what? He was like, well, that's what you said on the radio. So I think I said I was 25 or something like that. I said, you're not 25? I'm like, no. But he was. And so I'm talking to a 25-year-old, and I'm older. And so to make a long story short, that's my husband, that was my sister-in-law, and my husband is like the most amazing person ever. And he's like the most amazing dad to my daughter, to my sons, and whenever we had to, I'm sorry, I'm fanning myself. Whenever I met him and I told my visiting teacher, my home teacher, fast forwarding rewinding back to them, he just knew. He was like, so yeah, I'm definitely going to be here for that. Sorry, y'all. He said, I told you. He said, because he said that he had he had a dream or something, like he just knew. And so when I told my visiting teacher, she was like, I knew. She was like, I knew that you were thought. She said, because, the Lord, he has, a plan for you, a plan for your life. No matter the things that we've gone through, we still have to endure. Just remember the atonement. The pain that I felt, like Jesus Christ felt that pain already. Like, I just have to continue to follow the commandments. The power of repentance. The repentance process for me was a big deal. Like, it was major because I wanted everything to be right. Because I felt that my children deserved it. I felt that I deserved it. And so we went in for our endowments. And my parents were not endowed. And so my parents ended up getting their endowments. And I didn't know that right there, if I would have just given up. And from that point on, we were able to seal everybody. We were able to do lots of temple work. My husband and I sat in for my grandparents. Just continued on and on and on. My husband's parents were our first African-American temple president and matron in the Louisiana temple. My mother-in-law said that she prayed for somebody like me. And so, with that, my husband supports me in the work that I do. And speaking out, for women, against domestic violence, against HIV and AIDS, and all those issues that I've been through a lot. I've been through it all. And I'm still here. So I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to speak out. And I'm not afraid to tell everybody how good the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is. The way that the church is set up like that for a reason. The foundation, for us to come right back to that foundation. And I felt so much peace. So I just feel so much peace, even though things are going on all around me. Yes, I get frustrated. Yes. But it comes back down to that foundation and that peace. And knowing that I have a husband that holds a priesthood, and he was born into the church. His family, they're in the church history. I think they baptized 13 of them. Gail. So they baptized 13 of their family members. So his family history just goes back. So I feel very blessed, and that's the work that I have to do. And I continue to do that work and share the message of just empowerment for women. And I know my time is up, but I just want you to know that you have to endure to the end. Even when we lost everything in 2016, we lost our home, we lost everything, but I had my family. It was tough, but, you know, you have to understand fear. Fear, you can either face everything and rise, or forget everything and run. And so what we did was, faced it, and we rose above the floodwaters. And I'm here today, and the work doesn't stop. What kept me going was, you know, doing service, the things that we're taught in the church. And so that's what I'm here, you know, learn that life is service. And thank you so much, y'all. Thank you.